Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, me too, me like walking legal debate on 2023 budget blue me. Mr. Speaker, me looking more some budget and me responsible budget. Budget and me funding plenty of interventions by government. Budget and me all this interventions and me aimed at growing economy blue me. Me looking big funding too, go law and order, or cyber police. Miss, I believe also before me talk about development, you must fix law and order blue me, country blue me. So decision law government, law funding law and order sector, law increasing budget blue police, and me good plan. Now decision law government, law do away with IACA business law country too, and government must not plan to stop in IACA law country blue me. Plan the money, miss I give me law police, the plan this how we go IACA. Plan the money go army, go law IACA. IACA time IACA law stop now. Mr. Speaker, me not debate too much long the entire budget, but me like that's all plug him out one part of the budget where me he got serious concern, where me got learning, me believe was by got serious implication. Long country blue me, and by come up in collateral damage. The country blue me. We look him display increase long extra 20%. Long log export levy. Make a big issue law display, Mr. Speaker. Last year, government increase in tax equal of 50%. Now with a further increase of 20%, now log export tax and by some upload 70%. Mr. Speaker, display me big asua government by working suppose me implementing this additional 20% tax. Me no sabe whether Treasurer and Budget Committee only working consultation, want them Forestry Authority, whether this Budget Committee want them Treasurer, and me consult want the forest industry. Or you work long, arim talk low line outside, where try to influence in budget blue me. Now tax system lo country blue me. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Treasurer law, budget speech blame me talk also. This log export tax, and make consistent one time objective. Lo government lo stop him round log exports lo country and encourage him downstream processing lo country blue me. Now asking him lo increase and me talk also by me making 30 million kina. Now by me putting me go inside long PNG United Nations Biodiversity and Climate Change Trust. Mr. Speaker, do you need to do that? Do you need to increase 20% extra tax on log export? To give 30 million into the Biodiversity and Climate Change Trust? Government can do it better and smarter. You appropriate 30 million and cater for that. You don't have to make this kind of decision, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the effect of this decision will kill the logging industry in the country. That's the direct effect, Mr. Speaker. It will kill the logging industry. Mr. Speaker, you must see logging industry as a renewable sector. Why do we find easy to give exemption and tax concession to multinational companies in the extractive industry law, non-renewable sector, and we find it easy to tax the renewable sector? For the big companies in the mining sector and oil and gas sector, when we exempt them from tax and we give them tax concession, it's a drop in the ocean for them. It's a drop in the ocean. With this log export tax, the increase of 20%, Mr. Speaker, the collateral damage is this. We will lose big time in the log export development levy. Landowners will lose big time in royalty collection that sustains them, and there will be more than 3,000 jobs lost. We have already lost about 2,600 jobs in the country in just one decision last year in increasing the tax to 50%. And now you increase it with another 20% to 70%, we will have an increase of another 3,000 jobs lost. Mr. Speaker, that's a direct effect to the citizens of this country. That's a direct effect to the citizens of this country. For Treasurer to say that we have to put 20% tax to make way for us to generate the revenue to pay 30 million to the trust, Mr. Speaker, this is very irresponsible. Very irresponsible. Logging industry, Mr. Speaker, has been contributing immensely to the country. Before the Marape-Rosso government came with the Connect PNG concept, logging industry has been connecting the country. They have been reaching the unreached. Why do we have to penalize them heavily? We should be seeing them as our development partners, strategic development partners in the country. We can do it better. We can do it smarter, Mr. the Assistant Speaker. Mr. Assistant Speaker, I see that with this decision, we're going to kill the economy of our country as well. Mr. Prime Minister, our Prime Minister has come up with interventions in the country. He has created 3 new ministries, plucked them out from the Agriculture Department, the Oil Palm Ministry, the Livestock Ministry, and the Coffee Ministry. These ministries are part of forestry. You need to clear land to make allowance for them to plant oil palm. You need to clear land to make allowance to plant coffee. You need to clear land to make allowance to have cattle ranges. You go on with this decision, logging operations will stop. And the ministries that Prime Minister has introduced and established in this country will not move. That's literally the effect. We want to grow the oil palm industry. We want to plant up to 5 to 10 million hectares of oil palm. How can we do it? We need logging operators to be able to operate, to be able to clear the land so we can be able to plant the cash crops. The effect of this decision will stall the Prime Minister's intention to grow the renewable industry. Mr. Speaker, I would like to recommend to the government a few options that I would see the Treasurer would have taken. There is an existing NEC decision by the then Minister for Forestry, Honorable Solon Mirisin, the NEC decision number 139 of 2021. There was a policy decision taken by the Marape-Rosso government to reduce the tax from 50% to 38%. And I believe that is the decision. That is a responsible tax. I would urge the government to do away with the increase of 20%, to do away with the 50% tax, and go back to and implement the decision that it has already made. Go back to 38% log export tax. Mr. Assistant Speaker, if we continue with this, we will have reduced in log export development levy. We will have reduced in our landowners and in royalty, and they will pay tax. But we have effectively affected that. I would recommend that instead of 20% tax on the log export, why don't we increase the log export development levy from 8 kina per cubic to 35 kina per cubic? I would also recommend, Mr. Assistant Speaker, I would also recommend that instead of this 20% increase in log export tax, we increase the royalties to the landowners. There is already a decision by the then minister to increase royalties. Quilla from 35 kina to 42 kina. All the ban logs from 35 kina to 42 kina. And all other increases that the minister has intervened and proposed to the government. That is what we should be doing. We should be putting more money into the pockets of our citizens, not giving the high tax. We should discourage this at all costs, Mr. Deputy Speaker. We should now think of operationalizing the state purchase option It's already there. It's in the law. It's in the Forestry Act. We should give power to the Forest Minister. Mr. Assistant Speaker, operationalize the state purchase option. 30% of the round logs must be purchased by the state and processed onshore. There's already in the law. We have so much law in the country, but we lack enforcement. We must enforce those laws. When you operationalize the state purchase option, then you establish what we call a state marketing agency for the state. We talk about downstream processing. We can talk all we like. But if we do not act, we are just making decisions that will continue to sabotage the growth of our economy. Agriculture sector, forestry sector are industries that we should invest to springboard the economy of our country. These are areas that we should invest. These are areas that we should be friendly with. We should make legislations that are user-friendly. We should not be harsh. Who gave that advice to the treasurer to increase tax to 70%? Who gave that advice? Did he consult with the forest industry? Did he consult with the forest department? Or is he listening to foreign advisors? We have to leave a practical budget. We have to make practical budgets. Budget that will affect the people of our country. Mr. Deputy Speaker, while I'm on that, Mr. Deputy Assistant Speaker, we need to grow our economy through our renewable sector. Whilst we enjoy the windfall from the extractive industry in oil and gas and mining sector, we need to get these monies and we have to invest in the renewable sector. That is the way to go. That is our future. Renewable sector is our future, and forestry is one of such industries. And if we are concerned about climate change, why not we remove climate change from the Department of Environment Conservation and place it with forest industry? One of the recommendations, if we are worried about round log export, is we must enforce already existing law for reforestation. Put more money into reforestation. Increase the levies on reforestation, where if they cut 1 kwila, they must be encouraged to plant 2 kwilas in each place. So we have to encourage all the logging operators in the country to have nurseries to replace the existing logs that they cut. Mr. Assistant Speaker, I would advise that government stick to its policy decision number 139 of 2021 that was made on the 23rd of June 2021 as the tax regime for forest log export industry in the country. I would encourage that government should look at increasing royalty rates, increasing log export development levy rate, and look at increasing benefits to the people. I want to say this. Logging industries have built hospitals, schools in the country. And effective with this decision, all those schools and hospitals will shut down because they cannot continue to sustain. They will not sustain. This is an irresponsible decision, I believe, Mr. Assistant Speaker. And Mr. Assistant Speaker, what we also need to do, and I want to recommend that the Forest Minister take on board, is that we should now look at the legislation where the logging operators are operating. We should ask them to build all-weather bridges. These are interventions that we can make, not by giving them hefty tax. There are other smarter, better ways of skinning the cat. We don't have to go down cutthroat decision. This decision to increase the log export tax, I think it's irresponsible, and I want the government to go back to the decision that it already made in June 23, 2021, in its NEC decision number 139, to go back to 38% log export. And Mr. Assistant Speaker, I would also want to urge the government, while we enjoy the windfalls from the extractive industry, we need to grow our sovereign wealth fund. We must grow our sovereign wealth fund. I saw last time we gave only 5.6 million. That's a good start. But I have serious concern. Why do we put so much money in KPH, Kumul Petroleum Holdings? What is it there for? The original intention for all the revenue that comes from the oil and gas industry and from also mining industry is for us to put it in the sovereign wealth fund so that we grow the economy for our future generation. And with that, we also need to put money in the renewable sector, in agriculture, and in forestry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.